So what about if we solve an absolute value inequality? And we're going to specifically focus on if it's a less than or equal to will also follow the same rules. So when we talk about the absolute value being less than, that means the distance from 0 to the value is less than that many units. So we say the absolute value of x is less than 5. That means x has to be less than 5 units from 0. So if we go to a number line, if we go 5 units from 0, we'd be at 5. But 5 can't be included because it says less than. And if we go, so anything from 0 to 5, but not including 5, would be less than 5 units from 0. But we could also go in the negative direction, and we could go over to -5, and that would still keep us within less than 5 units from 0. So this whole entire area. So if I think of like if I'm traveling to another city and someone says it's less than 5 miles, that means it's nearby. We're going to be close to or within a certain distance. So here is our absolute value of 5, or the absolute value of x equals 5 is between -5 and 5. And so when we write that, we say x is less than 5 or greater than -5. And the word and is important here because it has to do both. It has to be a number that's less than 5 and greater than -5. And we can write this as a compound inequality. X is between -5 and 5. Okay? When we think about solving them, we have to consider the two cases. Is it positive or is it negative? So solving an absolute value inequality with a less than, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to write case number 1, and we have x minus 8 is less than or equal to 2. And then case number 2, we want to switch it to negative, and so it's going to be less than, and then case number 2 is going to have to be greater than or equal to -2. In order to have it between, we need one less and one greater. So if you always remember, when you switch to the negative, you switch the inequality sign at the same time. So now we have a greater than negative. And we're going to add 8 to both sides. X is less than or equal to 10. And add 8 to both sides here. X is greater than or equal to 6. So we go to our number line. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it says equal to, so we're going to put a solid circle. 7, 8, 9, 10. Equal to solid circle. It's going to be less than 10 and greater than 6. Anytime we have a less than with an absolute value, it's going to be an and. It's going to fall between the 2 points because the distance is less than that unit away. Okay, it's nearby. So now let's look at what happens if we have a negative. As we said before, when we think of absolute value, this has to be a positive number. Okay, it's a positive value. We don't know what it is right now, but it is a positive value that's going to be when we solve the absolute value. And it says a positive number is less than -3. Is it possible for a positive number to be less than -3? The answer to that is no, it's not possible, which means we'd have no solution. You don't have to solve it. So anytime you have a negative on the other side of an absolute value, think about whether the statement, the absolute value is positive, whether the statement is true. If it's true, then you'd be all set. If it's not true, the answer is no solution. It's not going to be possible.